We started playing chess again after taking many years of not playing it, and I thought I would upload some videos with commentary on it, and perhaps it will help me become a better player. So I started off this game with a pawn move to d4, and black. I'm playing the white pieces, and he came down and he challenged my position there, and I just went ahead and advanced it one more to d5. He came in and protected his pawn, and I fortified mine and started to fortify actually the center of the board at this point. I just start developing pieces. I take my bishop out. He moves his knight over now with the intention of attacking my piece on d4, and so I just take my knight up and I defend d4 with my knight, develop a piece at the same time. I'm looking at this point, and I see his knight and his dark square bishop both eyeing b4, and I just want to go ahead and stop any advancement on that side. So I go ahead and play my pawn to a3, protecting the b4 square. He develops and I develop as well. Bring both my bishops to the middle where I have maximum range going both left and right on them. He castles and I follow suit. Now again, with this same attack line, it's obvious that he wants to bring attack down the queen side. And looking at the board, he's got really not that many active pieces at all on the king side, where I have two bishops and a knight. So I really want to just close that line of attack off. So I just go ahead and I play b4 with my pawn. And at that point, I bring my knight over, developing a piece, and I'm also eyeing the c5 square. That's a big, powerful knight on that square, and even if I get it there and he were to attack it and take it, I could recapture it with a pawn and strengthen the center position even further. So that's what's in my mind here. And I go ahead and I follow through. Now, I wasn't sure what his next move was going to be. I see that he brought the knight back. It looks like he's going to bring his knight over to b7, so that when I bring my knight over to c5, he'll be able to attack it. But I wanted to finish developing my pieces first, get my queen off the back row. So I brought my queen up to protect and right behind my dark square bishop, and I'm hoping he's going to bring that pawn down over on the h file, because that's going to be my line of attack that I'm looking at. And at this point, I go ahead and I played that knight. He takes the knight with the dark square bishop. I recapture towards the center. Again, I want center control of the board. And this is now that dark square bishop is gone, the right side where the king is, it's kind of all opened up for my pieces. So I want to provoke some sort of pawn movement here. My knight and my light square bishop are also eyeing the h7 pawn, and so he's got to do something. He's got to either drive away my knight, or he's got to do something. If I'm able to get my knight on the h7 pawn, his rook's got no place to go, and I could capture that. So he comes down with his f pawn to the f6 square, and I just go ahead and take that. So my knight's no longer being attacked. And after he captures it with the rook, I have the option here of either capturing the h7 pawn with my knight or my bishop, and in this case it seemed like it'd be more effective to take it with my bishop. That way I'm forcing him to move his king out of check. After he moves his king, I go ahead and pull my bishop back down, and my attack has begun. So he starts to bring pieces over at this point to try to slow down or stop my attack. And I've considered here just taking the knight off the board, but I was thinking perhaps if I could work the knight over to the d5 square, then I would either have a powerful knight on that square that would be ready to join the attack, or if he were to capture it, I would at least have a pawn that's kind of moved over and would be attacking that rook. So I go along that line, I'm eyeing that square, and it was an unexpected move. He comes down, he captures my knight with his rook, forcing me to recapture it with my g-pawn, leaving my king, a little bit open here. And then he comes down and he's attacking the center of the board now on that d5 square. And I really didn't want my bishops to start getting closed in, so I went ahead and I took here. I'm not sure if that was the best move. I don't have a chess engine. I'm just doing this on my tablet. But I went ahead and took it, and his knight came down, and very easily, if you didn't see it before, you could very quickly see it right now, that he's threatening to take the pawn on f3, which would fork my king and my queen. And I definitely don't want that. He's also threatening to take my light square bishop, so remove a piece from the attack. And to thwart this, I just move my king out of the way. So if he takes the f3 pawn, I'm giving it to him. It's a double stack pawn anyways. Then I'll just move my queen out of the way. So he continues with his line of attack, and he comes down with his bishop onto the h3, and he's now attacking my rook. And so when I look here, it looks like the best move would be to move to the g1, but the minute I do that, the knight can come down to f3 and again fork, but this time he would be forking my rook and my queen. So I leave my rook there, and instead, he's got an exposed king. I have to go back on the offense here because he's starting to gain tempo with me. He's got two pieces in. He's got a queen that's ready to come down. So I make the move, and I go ahead and I push my dark bishop out to the h6 square, with the thought that if he takes it, my queen will be in a position to come up, take it, and I would gain tempo and put him in check, and then I would have a lot of pieces that are already kind of coordinated and looking his direction. So I do that, and he does not take it, and he comes down, and I could take that knight, but I'm seeing something here. I'm seeing a good opportunity to line that rook up, where if he takes that rook, now if he takes that bishop, he's going to have a very bad threat coming. And even if he doesn't, he's going to have a very serious threat coming. So I go ahead, I move my rook over to the g1 square, ignoring the piece there for the knight, because if I would have taken that, he would have taken my rook or my bishop. And he goes ahead and he attacks my king here. So my king's got no place to go. And by doing that, I'm forced at this point. I have to capture with my queen. So I come over and I capture. He takes my bishop, and at this point, it's very clear. If you can't see it, take a second look at it. But there's a mate in 2, and you can pause it if you want. And the mate in 2 is to go up to the d4 square for check, and then once he moves, the g7 square is checkmate. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it. Have a